An emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of expenses in a very liquid and easily accessible vehicle. So in this video, I'll show you how to make an ironclad emergency fund. The term emergency fund refers to money stashed away that can be used in times of financial distress. The purpose of an emergency fund is to improve financial security by creating a safety net that can be used to meet unanticipated expenses, such as an illness or a major home repair. We create this fund when we put away money that we intend to use during financial difficulties. This financial difficulty can include loss of a job, a serious illness, or a major repair to your home or car. This can also include a financial crisis or a pandemic situation. The size of an emergency fund depends on many factors like your expenses, lifestyle, any debt that you might have like student loans, medical loans, etc. Rule of thumb is having between 3 to 6 months of expenses in your emergency fund, as this time is believed to be long enough to put you back on your feet. If things get difficult, like in the case of losing a job, you generally can find a job in 3 months that could be able to pay nearly the same as your previous one, if not more. Some people even believe that you should have between 3 to 6 months of your whole salary instead of expenses in your emergency fund. But that depends on how much safety net you need in an emergency. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, it can be very difficult to save 3 to 6 months of expenses, let alone whole salaries. In that case, anything you can do to get started. Start with $100. When you have that, increase the fund to $200. Then keep on increasing as much as you can. In my case, I have 3 months of expenses in my emergency fund. To fully understand an emergency fund, you also need to understand what constitutes as an emergency. Buying a new car doesn't mean an emergency. If your current car is working properly and there isn't going to be a significant financial benefit in changing your car. Wanting a new phone also doesn't mean that you can use your emergency fund. On the opposite end of the spectrum, some people get too attached to this emergency fund and think that using this money is blasphemy even in genuine emergencies. For example, whenever you start your car, there's a burning smell and you're not getting it fixed, thinking that you will do it when you get your next paycheck in 2 weeks, even though you have an emergency fund. Please utilize your fund and get your car fixed before there's a large problem and your emergency fund wouldn't be able to cover it. Now that you know how much you need to put into your fund, let's talk about exactly how can you build an ironclad emergency fund. The key is starting early because this will help you build your fund quickly and assist you in an emergency later in your life. If you're liking the video so far, I would really appreciate if you hit the like button and consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed already. Alright, to get started, you need to look into your income and your expenses. Look at your expenses in the past 3 months and take an average. Now subtract this from your income. Ideally, there should be an amount left as your savings. If this saving amount is anything less than 10% of your income, you need to reduce your expenses. Having a budget will help you decrease your expenses, and if you don't have a budget, I think this video will help you out. Now, if you're a student or living paycheck to paycheck, it might be very difficult to save 10% of your income, but I recommend you try to save at least 2% each and every month. Next, I would recommend that you make a new bank account dedicated to your savings. I have a video here if you are looking for a free bank account. I'll also put the links in the description below. From your main account, create an automatic transfer to your emergency fund bank account. At the beginning, you need to send all of your savings that we just calculated to this account as soon as you get your salary. You are not allowed to buy anything that you do not need. Your mobile phone upgrade can wait a few more months, so can your next vacation. Keep sending this amount until you have 3 to 6 months of expenses or income, whichever you chose in the beginning. Saving your tax return and diverting that money to your emergency fund can help you build it even faster. Additionally, you can also send any bonuses that you might get to your emergency fund. If you don't file a tax return, I highly recommend that you file it, as you can get an average of 1,000 euros back each year, and if you're a student, you can get even more. You can also speed up this process by reducing your expenses, increasing your income, maybe sell some stuff you have lying around on Facebook Marketplace or eBay. If you are a part of a 2-income household, then your partner also needs to contribute. You are a team, and by playing as a team, will you be able to build an emergency fund strong enough for your team to help you survive in difficult times. Only when you have your emergency fund can you think about investing in stocks and crypto. Some might say that utilizing this emergency fund by investing in stocks or ETFs would be better as your money can grow. Surely you can do that, but I think that defeats the whole purpose of an emergency fund. What if you have an emergency at the weekend and you need the money right now? How will you get your money then? Or maybe the market is substantially down and selling would mean that you have to realize your losses and get a smaller amount back. What then? Before I started investing, I had all of my money in my bank account. It was way more than 3 months of my income. I was surely losing money to inflation, but I had peace of mind that if I had an emergency, I would be fine. After starting my investing journey, there was a point when I had less than 1 month of expenses in my emergency fund, as I had invested all of my money in stocks and crypto. And looking back, I think that was way more dangerous than not investing at all because of the exact market situation that we are seeing right now. My portfolio is down more than 10% in the past month. Thankfully, I realized this soon and replenished my emergency fund to 3 months of expenses in the beginning of last year. I believe if I hadn't, I would have definitely sold more stocks at a loss in this market situation. So storing cash in a savings or a current account is the safest approach in my opinion. You can look into a high yield savings account, but I don't think it's a great option if you're living in Germany. Remember to keep your fund updated. If you get a promotion, as your income increases, your lifestyle also inflates. So an emergency fund, when you create it when your expenses were half of what they are now, will not be useful if you need to tap into it. Focusing on saving money makes sense up to a point. When you don't have much responsibilities, you can squeeze your spending to become almost non-existent, to a point that you are only spending on the absolute essentials and optimizing your spending to perfection. But there comes a point when such things are simply not possible. After reaching that point, instead of saving more, focus on increasing your income, as increasing your income is the fastest way to build an emergency fund. So in this video, I'm going to teach you 9 ways to increase your income in Germany. Thanks for watching, bleib gesund, and I'll see you in this video.